You know what's funny? People always ask me, when are you going to open a real restaurant? Like this food truck empire isn't real. Look, I'm going to tell you something that might sound crazy at first, but stick with me. Most people starting in the food business think they need a fancy restaurant. They dream about finding the perfect location, taking out this massive loan, renovating the space. Man, I see people sinking $500K into a building before they've even sold their first plate. That's like trying to win a race by buying an expensive garage. And you know what happens next? They spend the next 5 years stressed about making rent, dealing with fixed costs, and praying their location stays hot. Here's what I did instead. I stayed mobile. Started with one food truck. You know why? Because success isn't about where you are, it's about where you can go. When there's a festival downtown, I'm there. Big game at the stadium, I'm there. Construction site with hungry workers, you bet I'm there. Money moves, and I move with it. That's the beauty of this business model. You're never stuck hoping customers find you. You go find them. Let me tell you a story about my first year. I had this competitor, nice guy, who opened a beautiful restaurant in what everyone said was the perfect location. While he was signing a 5-year lease and spending 3 months on renovations, I was experimenting with different locations, testing menu items, building a following. By the time he opened, I already knew exactly who my customers were and what they wanted. 6 months later, his perfect location turned into a construction zone when they started rebuilding the street. He was stuck. I just moved to the next block. But here's the real secret. I put my money into 3 things: my recipes, my brand, and my people. I spent months perfecting my fusion tacos, invested in eye-catching truck designs that people love to photograph, built a killer social media presence. Now people don't just buy my food, they buy my story, my vision. Every dollar I saved by not having a fancy restaurant went into developing signature dishes that people can't get anywhere else. You want to know something crazy? Our best-selling item came from a mistake. We ran out of our regular sauce during a lunch rush, had to improvise with what we had, and accidentally created this amazing fusion sauce that now people buy by the bottle. In a traditional restaurant, that kind of experimentation would have been too risky. But in a food truck, we can test new ideas every day, see what works, adjust on the fly. You know what's wild? Some of my friends thought I was crazy for not settling down in a permanent spot. But look at what happened during that big economic downturn. Restaurant owners were stuck paying rent on empty buildings, while I could adapt, move, find where the customers were. When the office crowds disappeared from downtown, we shifted to residential areas. When events were canceled, we partnered with apartment complexes for scheduled visits. Adaptability isn't just nice to have, it's survival. Now I've got 5 trucks, a catering business, and a line of sauces in local stores. And you know what? I still don't own a single restaurant building. I rent a commercial kitchen space when I need it. Because my wealth isn't tied up in bricks and mortar, it's in my brand, my team, and my ability to go where opportunity calls. That commercial kitchen? I share it with 3 other businesses, which turned into partnerships that boost all our brands. I learned something powerful. Your mindset about money, about success, it often comes from what you were taught growing up. My parents always said, own your building, that's real business. But I had to unlearn that. In today's world, flexibility is wealth, movement is wealth, knowledge is wealth. The most valuable thing you can own isn't a building. It's the ability to spot opportunities and move fast enough to catch them. Let me tell you something about knowledge. It's not just about knowing how to cook anymore. You need to understand social media, crowd psychology, event planning, weather patterns even. Yeah, weather patterns. Because when you're mobile, you need to know which events might get rained out, which neighborhoods stay warm longer in the evening, where people gather when it's hot versus cold. That's the kind of knowledge that builds wealth. I remember when we first started tracking social media mentions, not just of our trucks, but of every major event in the city. We built this whole system of predicting where crowds would be before they got there. Now we can position our trucks at the perfect spot before anyone else even realizes it's going to be a hot location. That's the power of information in today's world. And speaking of wealth, let's talk about what that really means. People think wealth is having a lot of money in the bank. But real wealth? It's having options. It's being able to say no to bad opportunities because you've got good ones lined up. It's having a team that can run your business while you're planning the next big move. It's being able to test a new market without betting your whole business on it. The game has changed. It's not about planting your flag in one spot anymore. It's about building something that can thrive anywhere. You know what my biggest investment was? Training my team. Building systems that work whether I'm there or not. That's real wealth. Creating something that makes money while giving you freedom. I spent more time documenting processes and training managers than I did picking truck locations. And that's saying something. Here's something else I learned. Your competition isn't who you think it is. When I started, I thought I was competing with other food trucks. Wrong. I'm competing with people's habits, their comfort zones, their assumptions about street food. Once I understood that, I stopped trying to be the best food truck and started trying to create the best food experience. We don't just serve food. We create moments, memories, stories people want to share. Think about social media. Everybody's sharing food pictures, right? So we designed every aspect of our business to be shareable. Our truck designs, our packaging, even the way we serve our food, it's all designed to look amazing on Instagram. But here's the key. It's not just for show. The food has to be even better than it looks. That's how you turn first-time customers into regulars and regulars into advocates for your brand. And here's something nobody talks about. Failure teaches you more than success ever will. My first menu? Total flop. My first truck broke down more times than I can count. But each setback made me smarter, more adaptable. You can't be afraid to fail. You just have to fail forward. Every time something went wrong, we turned it into an opportunity to learn, to improve, to connect with our customers in a more authentic way. You want to know the biggest mistake I see people make? They try to skip the learning phase. They think if they just get enough money, or the right location, or the perfect equipment, they'll succeed. But that's backward thinking. Success isn't about what you have, it's about what you know and how quickly you can adapt what you know. Every dollar you spend trying to look successful is a dollar you're not spending on becoming successful. I remember this one time, we had this huge catering order fall through. Like, massive order, was going to be our biggest payday yet. But instead of panicking, we turned it into an opportunity. We took all the prep work we'd done and created a pop-up event, promoted it on social media, and ended up making more money than the catering job would have paid. That's what I mean by adaptability. Let me share another secret. Partnerships are the new real estate. Instead of investing in buildings, we invest in relationships. We partner with breweries that don't serve food. We work with office buildings that want to offer their tenants something special. We collaborate with other food trucks to create mini food festivals. Every partnership multiplies our reach without multiplying our overhead. I'm not interested in owning the biggest restaurant in town. I want to own the most loved food brand. The difference? One ties you down, the other sets you free. One depends on location, the other creates its own destiny. We're not just selling food, we're selling an experience, a story, a connection. Remember this. In business, the ability to move, to adapt, to follow opportunity, that's worth more than any piece of real estate. Build your brand, perfect your craft, invest in your team. That's how you create real wealth in today's world. Every time I see a for lease sign on a restaurant space, I thank myself for choosing mobility over mortgage. And you know what the beautiful thing is? I'm just getting started. Every day, I wake up excited because I know I can take this brand anywhere. That's freedom. That's success. That's the new way of building wealth. We're already experimenting with virtual kitchens, developing an app, and looking at franchising our model to other entrepreneurs who get it. The future belongs to the flexible, to the adaptable, to those who understand that in today's world, the biggest advantage you can have is the ability to move. Not just physically, but mentally. To shift strategies, to try new things, to go where others won't. That's not just business advice, that's life advice. That's the real secret to success. Being willing to move when opportunity calls, being prepared to learn from every situation, and most importantly, being brave enough to challenge what everyone else thinks is the right way to do business. Because at the end of the day, the right way is the way that works for you, your team, and your customers. Everything else is just noise. At Smart Money Vids, we believe in the power of action. Check the links in the description for tools and resources to help you take the next step on your journey. And don't forget to subscribe for more actionable insights and real-world advice. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.